Hey everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 102 of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh, helping you get that sober life you want. Thank you for spending some time with me today, listening to the pod. What a crazy time we are living in with this coronavirus. And I know we're all struggling with anxiety and fear that comes with all this uncertainty. And on a funny note, I heard the other day, this story about a journalist who was doing a segment on her news channel, right, about how to trim your own hair because all the salons and barbers are closed, right? So we're all starting to look a little cray. So she was doing this piece standing in front of her bathroom mirror, right? And the camera's filming her and she's showing you how to cut your own hair looking in the mirror. Not even realizing that behind her, in the reflection of the mirror, her husband was in the shower, completely naked in the back part of the bathroom. And the mirror had a perfect view of this poor dude in the shower. And because everybody was watching her, they didn't even notice her completely naked husband in the shower. And apparently they ran the whole piece, like the full length of the piece, the whole time, him in the shower. You guys, can you imagine? Like, how would your partner react if you were sitting at breakfast and you're like, honey, I need to tell you something. I just live recorded you naked in the shower for the entire state of California to see. I'm thinking this may be a challenging conversation. Oh my gosh, so embarrassing. I hope that guy has a heck of a sense of humor because I think I would be mortified and my first response would probably be a little mad and I would figure it out and come back to, obviously she didn't do it on purpose, but I think I'd be pissed at first. I don't know. Okay, so this week we are going to do a part 2 of It's Not Your Drinking, It's Your Thinking. I got a ton of emails from you guys after last week's episode telling me how much you enjoyed it and you had some major light bulb moments thinking about your own behavior. And I had planned on doing more of these episodes on this topic anyway, so I decided to move some things around and do another one now. You know, there are some real pitfalls in life that we fall into just in our thought processes, how we view the world and other people, not recognizing our own shortcomings and how we could be better as individuals, always blaming others instead of looking at ourselves first, playing the victim role like life happens to you and not because of you. The struggle is real, my friend, and I had all the same effed up thought processes, and I am living proof that you can go from a hot mess to a really good, healthy, strong, and confident person with a little work and guidance. And that's why I'm here for you. So really quickly, let's do a member shout out. And let me say, first of all, thank you all for joining me in the Addiction Unlimited Inner Circle membership site. I've gotten some incredible feedback and I will continue to ask for your feedback as we grow this thing because I want it to be exactly what you want. And you've said you want more support, you want community, and you want more stuff between my podcast episodes. So that's exactly what I've done. And I'm super excited to give you more cool info in there. And we will be doing some live workshops with me for Inner Circle members, and we're just going to continue to grow it and evolve it to be better and better all the time. And you get early access to every podcast episode in the membership site, right? You get podcast episodes a day early too. Super, super support in there. And I got this recommendation on my professional Facebook page, and this is so good. This is the shout out. This is by far one of the best comments I have ever gotten, honestly. And I'll tell you why after I read it. He says, my first impression was overwhelming. From the get-go, you could tell that Angela reveals the most personal aspects of her sobriety. She can connect with anybody and appeals to a broader range of people that have issues not so related to sobriety and addiction, but about life. I wish her tremendous success in the future. She's guided me through so many profound ideas and narratives and ways to change my perspective about my sobriety that it's almost eliminated any desire or craving to drink again. I'm so pleased to have found this wonderful person. That doesn't mean we all do not still suffer daily distractions and go through our normal emotional relapses and past drinking ridiculousness in present sobriety. But Angela is a force to be reckoned with. Angela, again, thanks so much, Carson. Thank you, Carson. And I know I responded to Carson on my page because I really was I'm blown away by this and super grateful, of course. It's such an amazing comment to get. And I'll tell you why this struck a chord with me, because I feel like he really gets what I'm doing. Like my whole career, people have asked me, are you a coach or do you do addiction? And I'm like, it's the same thing, people. It's the same thing. I am a coach through and through. I coach people to create change in their lives. And the process for creating change is the same regardless of what change you are making, right? My process is a framework that guides you to build the life you want, whether that requires quitting drinking, kickstarting a new meal plan, changing your decision-making process, healing from a divorce and building your new independent single life, changing your spending habits or your fears around money. Having a framework is the fastest way to create change in your life. And that's what I offer. It's a framework. No matter what you are going through, addiction, financial issues, relationship issues, when you make a decision to change your life, you are doing just that, changing your life. Change doesn't only happen in one area. Even if you're focusing on one area, change is overall, because change comes from your thought processes, right? So it's inside of you that's changing, and that's going to affect every area of your life. When you start working on quitting drinking, you're changing your thoughts and your actions, and that change will bleed over into all the other areas of your life. So for my whole career, people want to put me in one box or the other. They either want me to be a quote unquote life coach or a person that does addiction. And to me, it's just always been the same thing. It's the same thing. I am a coach. I'm also a recovering alcoholic. So of course, I help people with addiction. That just makes sense. That's my wheelhouse, right? But creating change, the process for creating change works for any change. So anyway, that's been my whole career, people trying to put me in a box. And to me, it's the same box. I'm a coach. That's all. I just teach you how to build your dream life one step at a time with a simple framework that takes away all the guesswork so you can make real progress real fast, right? It's about life. And for those of us with addiction, your sobriety has to be the first priority because you can't do anything else in life if you're stuck in all the drunken drama. So when Carson says she can connect with anybody and appeals to a broader range of people that have issues not only related to sobriety and addiction, but about life, to me, my heart just lit up when I read that. And I was like, yes, that's what it's all about. It's about life. Addiction and alcoholism are only a symptom of my life issues. I have life issues. I have thinking issues. I was selfish. I was a liar. I was stuck playing the victim and acting like everything happened to me rather than because of me. I was dramatic and irresponsible and manipulative. I was lazy and lost, and I didn't know how to be different. I couldn't figure out even the first step to take to be different. And alcohol played a huge role in that. But surprise, surprise, when I put the alcohol down, all of that other stuff didn't magically disappear because I had spent a lot of years practicing those behaviors. And my framework that I coach you with and that I coach myself with works on those struggles. Out of all the years of school and all the different topics I have studied and obsessed over, my life coach tools have been the most valuable tools in my toolbox by far. My life coach tools, I've learned so much from them. I've taught so many other people with those tools, right? And those philosophies. And that's just what feels comfortable for me, right? Rather than anything I learned in counseling or social work school and therapy, right? It's life coach skills that's just what is the most natural and comfortable fit for me. And that's how I teach, right? Is with life coach tools. And I firmly believe when you are in a place that you become willing to follow suggestions and you are willing to be teachable and you are willing to do some work even when you don't want to, when you get in that place with the right teacher, you will change your entire life. And that's why I do the work that I do. That's why I work 100 hours a day, because I love it. I am still in such a state of shock at the person I have become. Literally every day of my life, it amazes me that this is me and that I get to be this person now. That's why I knew early on that I wanted to dedicate my life to this work, because I was so shocked by the changes I saw happening in myself that I knew all I wanted to do was help other people do the same thing. Like, I can't tell you what an effed up, crazy, unhealthy, overreactive, hot, drunken mess I was on the inside. Because remember, from the outside, you wouldn't have ever known, right? But on the inside, I was a disaster. I was broken and sad. I had been hurt and mistreated and taken advantage of. I'd been deceived and discarded like garbage. I was abandoned and broken and heartbroken. And all of that just, from years of bad luck and bad decisions. And when the moment was right, I had my rock bottom moment and I became willing to follow suggestions. I became willing to be teachable. I was willing to do the things I was told to do, even when they seemed stupid to me. When you get in that space and you're really open to be teachable, that's when you put your ego aside and all these hang-ups about the word alcoholic or feeling weird or embarrassed or ashamed or feeling like you're too good to go to AA, telling yourself you're not as bad as those people, or worse, going to a meeting and spending the whole time you're there judging the other people. Like you're some kind of authority about what is right and wrong and what people should talk about that meets your standards. That's your own drama and bullshit and insecurity, right? All that stuff is your ego. And your ego will not get you sober. I promise you that. It will get you to a fucked up and miserable life, but it won't get you sober. For me, my teacher was my sponsor. He 100% made me the person I am today. Well, maybe 50%, because my mom built me on a very solid foundation, right? Like as a kid, my mom taught me integrity and honesty and a crazy work ethic, right? And she instilled in me this ability to love people in a way that is deep and real and unconditional. All of that foundation was inside of me, even though I didn't know it until many years later when I was sober. So she built my foundation. But then Kev came in and he built me as an adult. He taught me how to take all the pain I had and he taught me how to forgive. He taught me how to take responsibility for my actions and my decisions instead of blaming everyone else when they didn't do things the way I wanted them to. He taught me to protect myself and how to build healthy boundaries. He taught me to love myself, and he taught me how to be a person who is lovable and deserves love. He taught me how to be honest, how to love and accept other people for who they are. And he taught me to apologize when I was a jerk. And he taught me that it's okay to be a jerk sometimes because we're all human and we will be jerks sometimes. The important thing is when you're a jerk, you have enough respect for someone to go back to them and clean it up. Own your jerkness and apologize. Because loving and honoring people is a great gift in this lifetime, and we all deserve to be loved and honored. And he taught me how prominent my selfishness was, and he taught me how to be different. He taught me to be of service and to always be mindful of others instead of only being mindful of myself. You know, we get consumed in thinking about what we want. You know, this is my plan and this is how I want it to happen. And I want this person to greet me in this exact way when I walk in the room. And I want to go to this place and I only want these people to go with me. Me. I want. That's all I ever thought about. Then when people didn't mind my silent rules of how I wanted them to behave, when they didn't mind, then I would get all self-righteous and feel like I was mistreated or cheated in some way. They did me wrong, you know, when really all that happened was they didn't do what I wanted them to do because my ego told me everything should happen the way I wanted it to. And as you're traveling this journey, figuring out yourself and your path and your own drama, I want you to cut yourself a little slack, a very little slack, okay? Because we like to cut ourselves way too much slack, and sometimes we don't hold ourselves accountable, right? But cut yourself a little bit of slack because this process isn't personal, meaning you aren't a personal failure. This isn't that you are weak or something is wrong with you. This isn't a moral failing and you're right or wrong. It's not a black and white situation, right? It's not good or bad. And I really want you to ditch those labels because having labels creates guilt and shame and all that stuff. And it's just completely unnecessary to put all those labels on stuff. And then we start to beat ourselves up, right? It's not about right and wrong. I want you to start reframing this instead of telling yourself you are wrong or you did something wrong or that was bad or that was good. Stop with the good and bad and right and wrong. Let's look at things as effective or ineffective. Did it work or did it not work? Does this align with my goals or not? Does this get me closer to my sobriety or closer to drinking? Effective or ineffective? When we put these crazy labels on things, we create expectations, right? If this is bad, then I expect myself not to do it. Well, in a perfect world, that's great. In the brain of an addict, no one cares. But when you label right, wrong, good, bad, then the committee will talk a bunch of trash when you do something quote unquote wrong or bad. You'll beat yourself up. The committee will start telling you, you should have done better. You know better than that. You should be farther along by now, right? It turns into all this negative self-talk. The truth is, none of it is good or bad. It's all just necessary. My car accident was one of the worst experiences of my life, and it is the best thing that ever happened to me. So was it good? Was it bad? Neither. It was necessary. Necessary because the universe had tried to give me smaller signs and nudges to quit drinking. But like a good alcoholic, I don't pay attention to small signs and nudges. They just don't get my attention. So the universe had to go big, and it had to give me a sign that was terrifying and undeniable. It was necessary for me to be scared to death. It was necessary for it to be that bad because I had to take it seriously. I needed to be scared enough to get willing. Fear and pain make you willing real quick. Think about this like at work. You have crappy performance at work. You're not doing a good job. You're being late. You're not doing work on time, or you're half-assing it. And you don't care, right? You'll run around half-assing it for months. Like you don't care until your boss pulls you in the office and tells you that your performance sucks and you're about to get fired. Now, all of a sudden, you care. Fear of financial stress, uncertainty, losing your things, your house, your car, your toys. All of that fear and discomfort makes you get your shit together. Was that situation good or bad? Neither. It was necessary because you were letting yourself slide and you were being someone you aren't proud of. So it was necessary that you get your buns chewed to get you to self-correct. You needed to get willing to stop being lazy, stop leaving the house late, stop hitting snooze on the alarm, stop effing around, stop hitting Starbucks drive-thru when you know you're already 5 minutes late to work. You have to get willing to get up a little earlier, manage your time better, sacrifice the Starbucks when you don't have time because your priority is your job and not your coffee. There's selfishness right there. When you go ahead and stop because to you, what you want is more important than the commitment you've made to your job or to whoever you're meeting. You go ahead and stop and get the coffee because it's all about you, right? And if you are late, or you do hit the snooze button, I want you to think about it not as a moral failing and you are a bad person, but that decision was ineffective. If the goal is to do a better job at work, to be on time, to be a good employee who deserves respect, then hitting the snooze button is ineffective because it won't get you where you want to be. It's not right or wrong or good or bad. It's just ineffective. If you want to practice being a better parent, then maybe you decide to spend some more playtime with your kids. Like really get on the floor with them, get outside and run and play with them and be hands-on, creating memories with them and being in that moment with them instead of standing around passively while they do their thing. Right? Like you're just standing, they're running around the yard playing and you're standing on the porch being pissed off that you have to watch them, right? That's ineffective because it isn't getting you to be the parent you want to be. It doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent and a bad human. It's just not effective. So regroup and figure out what is effective. When you want to have a pity party and feel sorry for yourself because your life is a mess, I want you to think, is this effective or ineffective? It's totally ineffective. But the committee in your head will tell you that you're a bad person, you're weak, you'll never get your shit together, you're going to feel bad forever and no one will ever love you. Well, that sounds a little extreme, right? The reality is the pity party is ineffective. Reaching out to someone and starting a conversation would be effective because it would distract you from your pity party and make you think of someone other than yourself. That's effective. Getting in an online meeting would be effective. Talk to another alcoholic. We say talk to another alcoholic because Well, number one, we are the coolest people ever. We are the funniest and smartest people on the planet. So why wouldn't you want to talk to another alcoholic? But two, because we love and accept one another on a different level, because we understand one another and want to protect each other. There's no better way to feel loved and understood than when I talk to someone who has the same thing that I have. It's just like all my girlfriends that have kids. They want to hang out with other moms because they understand one another's insanity. Or my mom. She's a crazy talented seamstress, so she likes to hang out with other sewing ladies so they can talk about sewing lady stuff, right? Those of us who are single like to hang out with other single people because we talk about the same struggles and share funny dating stories. It's simple, you guys. Like-minded people want to be around like-minded people. This isn't just an alcoholic thing. And I'd be willing to bet when you hang out with other parents or with the mommy group, you don't love every other mom in the group, but you probably still go back. So it's okay to go to a meeting and not love everybody in the group and still go back. I promise you, I don't love everybody in any group. My family, my workout class, my hiking meetup I go to. But I don't stop going because I've grown up and I understand that everybody doesn't have to be exactly the way I want them to be. It's okay for people to be whoever they are, however they want to be, and it's okay for me to love them anyway. That's what happens when you grow up and learn to put your ego in check. Everything and everyone doesn't need to be my way. Another great example. If you're judging other people and deciding all the ways they could improve themselves and all the things you don't like about them, the first thing you need to do is look in the mirror because you are the person that needs improving. If you were comfortable with yourself and confident and happy, you wouldn't be judging everyone else. So look in the mirror and get honest. Then think, is this behavior effective or ineffective? Does it serve you in any way to be tearing people down? Is it effective for your own recovery or is it ineffective? Does it make you feel better or worse? It is entirely ineffective because all it's going to do is make you feel worse about yourself, your situation, and your need to get and stay sober. And it would be very effective for you to get your buns over to the Recovery Toolbox and join the Inner Circle membership site. It's free for the month of April. Even if you join today, you have access to all the information and all the videos that I've already been posting in there and all the upcoming stuff that I'll post for the rest of the month. But this is what I want you guys to think about, effective or ineffective. Not good or bad or right or wrong. This isn't a good or bad situation, right? This is just where we are. We are all at a different part of our journey, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And what you need to challenge yourself to do is make more decisions that are more effective for where you want to go, where you want to be. Like I said earlier, does this align with my goals or not align with my goals? It's not good or bad. Don't get caught up in that guilt of, oh, I made a bad choice. I did a bad thing. No, it was just ineffective. So you tweak it a little bit, figure out how you can do it differently, how you can do it that is more in line with your big picture goals. That's it, effective or ineffective. And I want you to think about this today. This is going to be your little assignment for today. I want you to identify one thing that you could do differently. What is one thing that you do on a daily basis that really is ineffective? It really is not serving you. What is that thing? Is it laziness? Is it gossiping? Is it feeling sorry for yourself? Is it not being fully committed? Like, what is your thing that's ineffective? And then think about some ways that you can be doing that differently. Okay? I hope you guys are staying strong and staying safe as the coronavirus starts to wind down. There's conversation about starting to reopen our country a little bit. I hope we do that slowly and safely so we don't have another surge of this crazy virus. You guys know where to find me. I'm going live on Facebook regularly, so you can find me there. And if you have any questions that you want to get answered and you want a response from me, email them to hello@angelapugh.com and we'll get your questions. As usual, I will link to all the good stuff in the show notes, the membership site, and we have weekly recovery meetings in the membership site, how to work with me privately, how to join the Facebook group. And for the Inner Circle membership site, use the promo code is free April and put that in on the checkout page. It tells you exactly what to do and you get the month free. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and I'll see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.